Now, this is a rather infuriating one. These two police officers, Kyle Erickson and Elmer Pastrin, were caught on their body cam footage planting marijuana in the vehicle of these two gentlemen after they had searched the vehicle for quite some time and they found nothing. Then, obviously, you see the one officer getting frustrated with not finding anything, and so he busts out some marijuana and puts it right on the center console of the car. A place, by the way, where the marijuana would have been obvious the first time you looked into the vehicle, and no one, after getting pulled over, would have left the marijuana there right in open plain sight. So even without the body cam footage, it's obvious they planted this. These two officers are not only evil people for doing this to two innocent men, not that they should have been found guilty of anything anyway, even if they had weed on them, but not only are these officers evil people, they are perhaps some of the dumbest people on the planet as well. Now, what happens to these two innocent gentlemen that these police officers framed? Well, they're put through the ringer. They're arrested. One of the guys was handcuffed in the hospital for 5 days because he had previously been stabbed and was still recovering, and the police officer really helped him out by throwing him to the ground, as you'll see in the video. So they go to court. One of the guys at least takes a plea deal. I'm assuming it's a large amount of money that they're paying, and their life is thrown into general chaos. Now here's the real kicker. What should happen to these police officers? Well, they arrested and confined two men who they knew did nothing wrong. The police officers knew they instigated this entire ordeal, and they fabricated the entire ordeal to begin with. So given this, they should be treated just like anyone else. They should be charged with false imprisonment, kidnapping, planting false evidence. Oh, and possession of controlled substance. Why not? Because obviously this police officer was carrying around an illicit substance while he was on the job, no less. Not only should these people be fired, they should be put on trial immediately. It's obvious what they've done, yet the NYPD drags their hands on this. These officers and the administrators involved in this are the actual worms of society. And not only this, there was a similar case 2 years ago involving these same police officers. It wasn't quite as cut and dry. There wasn't direct video footage of them planting the drugs directly, but the video is from outside the car, and you see the police officer reaching in his pocket, placing something in the car, and the gentleman they arrested is heard saying that they just planted something in the car. And when this was discussed in court, those marijuana charges were dropped. Why drop the charges when marijuana was found? Likely because they knew it was planted. Now, given what we know about these officers now, it's not a huge leap of faith to believe this isn't the first time these officers have done this. All the charges were dropped for that person, but the NYPD stood by the officers and didn't do a thing. And now with this recent incident, where it's directly caught on camera, you would think something has to be done about these two officers, but as government never fails to put one in awe, at this point nothing has been done about these officers. They're still employed, and it seems like the NYPD is still standing by these officers. What a joke of a department. Now, people will defend the police and say it's just a couple of bad eggs. Most officers are decent people. Okay, I can understand that to some extent. I'm not sure how decent you can be while working for a corrupt organization that throws people into cages because of some plant material. But regardless, these two police officers have just as much time in the day as anyone else. So there's a natural limit to how many lives they can unjustly throw into chaos. Their lives should be turned upside down for doing this to innocent people, for sure. But the real frightening thing is, as I said before, the NYPD has chosen to stand by these officers and defend them, not even reprimand them at this point, which is beyond belief. So if you say, it's just a couple of bad eggs, as infuriating as these two officers are, they are nothing compared to the fact that the NYPD is so flagrantly a corrupt, disgusting organization with a monopoly on violence, intimidation, and control. And they seem to be really hesitant to do anything against their own kind when it may cast them in a bad light, even if that means keeping officers employed who are causing more chaos in their community than they are preventing. Every administrator involved in this decision at the NYPD should be charged with aiding and abetting a criminal, and that's no joke, because that is literally what they have done, and they are continuing to do at this point. Even if they end up punishing and charging these officers, to me, it's too little, too late. This should have been the easiest, quickest decision to make. The fact that they didn't make the decision right from the get-go shows how pathetic they are, and shows how they are not working in the best interest of the people that they're sworn to protect. But anyway, like, subscribe, share, and take it easy out there.